Right. We'll go ahead. Good morning, boys. Today, as I said, we are going to talk about chromosomal theory of inheritance. I hope you are able to see the screen. You are able to
Yes, sir.
you are able to listen to me.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Somebody is waiting in the lobby. Shrikant, Abhishek, Sidhu, Abhishek, Satish Patil. Okay. Right.
Sir, unlock the room, sir.
Yeah. I think it is unlocked.
Sir, Vivek is
Sir,
telling
it is
that
locked.
there is a lot of construction work near his home, sir. He
Okay.
can't speak, sir, because lot of background sound will be there.
Okay. I think I have unlocked the room. Now you can see. I think boys can directly join, right? Okay. Since we are running short of time, let's start. Once again, good morning to all of you. Today we are going to discuss about a very important concept called chromosomal theory of inheritance. Okay. What do you mean by chromosome? Where do you find it? Now we say chromosome is the vehicle for inheritance. Already we said inheritance is transmission of characters from parents to offsprings or from one generation to another generation. Now when we say chromosomes are vehicles, they carry these characters in the form of genes. And as I said, the word gene is used much after the discovery of Mendel's laws. Remember, I told you Mendel used to call them as factors. So, Mendel could not tell all this because of the following reasons. I said only pigeons was the mode of communication. Now you have got emails, you have got Instagram, you have got direct phone calls, WhatsApp. So many are there now. We are all lucky. But during Mendel's time, there was no such thing, no technology improvement. Hence, communication was not easy. Then the mathematics, particularly mathematics in biology, was difficult. It was new. They were not knowing whatever theorems you know now. Okay. Then the concept of genes, which Mendel called factors, as stable and discrete units, could not explain the continuous variation. As I said, Mendel started observing varieties of characters or traits in his garden. Traditionally, when he has taken the two parents, okay, like we discussed about red flower and white flowers, suddenly after hybridization pink flowers have come. So he wondered from where this pink color has come. Even the scientists all over the world questioned him. And someone said, those who are very favorable towards God, they said, highly religious people, they said it is God's creation. Whether it is something is red or something is white, something is pink, it's all God's creation. But then, being science students, there is always logic for us. We go with the logic. Even though we accept God's decision, we approve that there is existence of God. But then, explanation part, simply if I say that, yes, flower is pink because God created it pink, I am sure Kadkol will not accept. I have to give reason why that is pink. Then logic is there will be heterozygous condition in the flower. A pair of alleles, namely capital R, small r, will be present, and capital R is not fully dominant. It does not express fully. So it shares its influence with recessive gene small r. So when the flower is appearing pink, it means it has the influence of both capital R as well as small r. Understood? So we said it is the influence of togetherness, right? But the question is, where do you see these capital R and small r? Where are these genes, the so-called factors which Mendel said are present? That is the question. Oh, unfortunately, Mendel could not all this, and two scientists, we are thankful to them. They are Walter Sutton and Theodore Boveri. It is famous as chromosomal theory of inheritance, or Sutton and Boveri chromosomal theory of inheritance. And what is that they said? They proposed certain points under chromosomal theory of inheritance. And remember, all these points that they made was in 1902. Now we are in 2021, remember. And again, the greatness of these two scientists, Sutton and Boveri, is whatever they proposed, it is applicable even today. And whatever scientific experiments that we are doing under molecular biology, genetics, okay, biochemistry, it's all proving that the two scientists' contribution post Mendel era is correct, and their findings coincided with the findings of Mendel. Okay, so what did they say? Some points they proposed: bridge between one generation and the next generation is through sperm and ovum. In case of plants, of course, pollen grain and ovum. The two must carry all the hereditary characters. Male gamete and female gamete must carry all the hereditary characters. So both the sperm as well as egg contribute equally in the heredity of the offspring. This is the first point they proposed. Second point that they proposed, both the scientists, is nucleus contains chromosomes. You can see the diagram just by the side of their photos. There is a cell, inside the cell nucleus, inside the nucleus chromosomes, inside the chromosomes DNA, and portion of DNA is gene. So people were happy to read this, to look at this. Yes, finally they got the answer. What Mendel proposed a hypothesis. Hypothetically said, if the flower is pink, it is because there are factors for pinkness in the plant. If prasad is tall, there are factors inside prasad to be tall. Okay, but then all of us were having question mark. Where are these factors? Okay, accepted. Mendel said that factors are there, and factors are responsible for the characters, and the characters get inherited. Accepted. But you know, curiosity among us, where are these factors? So for that, the chromosomal theory of inheritance helped us. And thanks to these two scientists, Sutton and Boveri. Second point that they carry or they proposed is nucleus contains chromosomes, as you are seeing. Therefore, chromosomes must carry the hereditary traits. Every chromosome or pair of chromosomes, it can be one chromosome or pair of chromosomes, has a definite role in the development of an individual. Why? What way they are playing the role? Look at the diagram. We are taking a pair. Okay. We say if two chromosomes are in the same size, same shape, and then we say they are together, then we say homologous chromosomes. And on the homologous chromosomes, you can see where the gene, particular gene is present, we say locus or loci, gene loci. Now, in the diagram he is showing you on the chromosomes where are the genes. Like he says, gene for eye color, where is it located? Gene for enzyme A.
On both the chromosomes it will be on same locus.
Yes, that's why we are calling them homologous chromosomes. So the chromosomes that have the locus, common gene locus, they come together. Remember, for this you have to remember meiosis. Meiosis, remember? Meiotic 1, meiotic 2. So before sperm is formed, try to recollect from your class 11th background, meiosis, cell division chapter. How sperm is formed? Spermatogenesis. Okay, and that spermatogenesis compulsorily will have meiosis. Remember, I was using the word SMC, sperm mother cell, OMC, ovum mother cell. Remember? So lot many changes will take place during meiosis, and particularly during anaphase 1 and anaphase 2 there will be a lot of changes. Metaphase 1 and metaphase 2 there will be changes as you are seeing in the picture. Okay. Now third point that these two scientists, Suter and Boveri, said is chromosomes retain their number. Again, I will take you back to your memory of haploid number, diploid number. And we used to write, whenever we were writing haploid number of chromosomes as n, diploid number we used to write 2n. So n number of chromosomes from sperm, n number of chromosomes from ovum, fusion of sperm plus ovum, n plus n, results in formation of zygote, and the zygote will have 2n. This is how the meiosis helps us to maintain chromosomal number. If all the human beings, all the organisms are diploid organisms, that diploidicity will be maintained by meiosis. So from sperm side, n number of chromosomes, from ovum side, n number of chromosomes, zygote will have the contribution equally from sperm and ovum, n plus n to n. So this is what Boveri said, that chromosomes retain their number. Like in our case, sperm contributes 23 chromosomes, ovum contributes 23 chromosomes. So 23 plus 23, 46 chromosomes, human being. Suppose if this does not happen, what will happen, Sandeep? Let's say sperm will not contribute 23, it will contribute only 22 by mistake. What will happen, Sandeep? Yes, the zygote that is formed will not be a human being. Something will be lacking. Okay, something will be lacking. Particular organ will not be there. So the number will become 45 instead of 46. Even though it is diploid, but it is not having required number of chromosomes which make a human being. So 22 plus sperm. Yes. We are going to study after this next class, maybe on Saturday. I'll be telling about syndromes that happens through mistake in chromosome number and genes. These are we are going to study under genetic disorders. I'm going to talk about person having 45 chromosomes, person having 47 chromosomes. Okay, all that we'll talk on Saturday. For today, yeah. Tell me.
If there are heterozygous pair of chromosomes, means the gene loci will not match.
Yes. Correct. Gene loci will not match. And you can guess, if the gene loci doesn't match, what is the alternative? You got a clue in prophase 1 of meiosis. Prophase 1, if you recollect from your memory, there are 5 substages: leptotin, zygotin, pachytene, diplotin, diakinesis. And what is the third stage? There will be crossing over. Remember? Recollect from your memory? Meiosis. Okay? So during that third stage, pachytene and diplotin, there will be crossing over. We will talk about that. So once the crossing over takes place, among the either homologous or heterologous, the resultant of that will be formation of hybrid chromosome, right? And hybrid chromosomes will carry varieties of genes, and varieties of genes will make a new character. New character coming into an individual is a variety. That person is a variety compared to others. This is how new offsprings will be always having varieties of characters. And that is the reason why we say that as we progress, evolution takes place among the genes and chromosomes, we should become better human beings. Okay? And that is how we are having, see, compared to our grandfathers, in immune system we are better. Even though food habits we are bad, like compare your grandfather and grandmother, Maybe they are 70 plus, 80 plus, but even now they are healthy. And present generation, if you take something like 30 plus or 40 plus, they look like 80-year-old. What is the reason? From genetic side, there is no problem. They got this better genes, evolved genes. Diet and habits, the daily rituals that we do, there is something wrong. Like all of us know that invariably, of course, it is good that when you are in science school, you have your dinner by 8 o'clock. But I am sure at home, you will be watching movies, watching internet, maybe 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, night, 1 o'clock also you will have your dinner. That will hurt you. So food habits will decide the immune system also and your lifestyle. But as far as chromosomes and genes are concerned, it should be evolution. It should be always evolution. Why? Thanks to meiosis, thanks to crossing over, thanks to linkage, right? On chromosomes, genes, if they are present together, then what happens? Together they will go to next generation. Okay? They are closely related. The genes are closely related, so during meiosis they will go together. But if gene loci, as someone said, is different, then what happens? One gene will go to one place, another gene will go to another place. So you are getting a varieties thanks to crossing over, isn't it? So what is the last point?
For independent assortment, it is necessary.
Yes.
Genes should be
Ah,
far away low.
yes. They have the tendency for all the three, particularly second law and third law of Mendel. Law of segregation. Even though they are present on the same chromosome, genes get separated, alleles get separated. That's why law of segregation. Second, law of independent assortment. They have the freedom to combine with any other allele or any other gene of different chromosome thanks to crossing over, thanks to prophase 1 of meiosis. Okay? So as you are seeing in the picture, look at that, how the chromosomes are formed. Now I will just focus it on this. I am expanding this. Yeah. Look at that. Homologous pair of chromosomes, how they are formed. See, from parent side, intentionally we are using different colors. And maternal, paternal, father side, maternal, mother side. Now doubling of chromosomes, replication. Now this is how the homologous chromosomes are formed, right? And see the sister chromatids from father side, sister chromatids from mother side, maternal chromosome and paternal chromosome. This is how duplication takes place. Can you guess in which stage this takes place in meiosis? Yes, Kadkol? Yeah, anybody? Rakesh? Yes, I think you need to review class 11th chapter, cell division. Okay, after my class today afternoon, just go through that. You will come to know anaphase 2, right? There will be a lot of changes, as I said, in 2 stages. They are very, very important. One is prophase 1. Whatever changes that take place, that takes place in the prophase 1. That's why we said in many exams, competitive exams, you get the question, which is the longest phase in meiosis? What would be your answer? Prophase 1. Why? Under prophase 1, there are 5 substages, as I said. Leptotene, zygotene, pachytene, okay? Diplotene, diakinesis. And by the time we reach to diakinesis, all this gene exchange must have taken place through crossing over. That is why what this Boveri and Sutton proposed, they are almost in support of Mendel's laws. So chromosomes retain their number, they retain their structure, you can see, and individuality of the chromosome throughout the life, and from generation to generation, from one generation to another generation. That's how we are able to maintain identity of the species. As I said, if we get 46 chromosomes, then only we are human beings. Otherwise, we are not. So identity of the species means that human beings should give birth to human beings. This happens only when 46 chromosome number is maintained, right? 23 from sperm, 23 from ovum, right? So the two neither get lost nor mixed up. That means the contribution of the chromosomes of both the sides, maternal and paternal, sperm side, ovum side, is equally important, right? And last point, chromosomes as well as genes occurs in pairs in diploid cells. That is what we said. 46 chromosomes will be present in the form of 23 pairs, and each pair is homologous. They look alike. And the gamete contains only one chromosome of a type and only one of the two alleles of the trait. This is very, very important. Gamete, like sperm, has got 23 chromosomes. They are not pairs, remember? They are not pairs. 23 chromosomes, I am saying. And on each chromosome, there will be, on gene locus, in the chromosome, there will be one gene present. There won't be pairs, there won't be alleles. I hope I am making it clear.
Yes, sir.
Whereas,
There is less chromosome, sir. Then there will be disorder, sir.
yes, there will be disorder. Like I said, let us say from sperm side,
Will there be more chromosomes, sir? Like
yes,
required?
yeah, instead of 46, Rakesh, some people will have 47.
They might not die, sir.
They will not die immediately, but they will show some different symptoms other than human being. So we call them as syndromes. Okay, like, yeah, come again.
This could be beneficial or not, sir. Like if we have more chromosomes,
See, we lose our identity. We are no more human beings. We are separate species.
like mutation.
Yeah, mutations only lead to this. But all mutations are not good. You see, cancer is due to mutation. Okay, we said, remember last time, lethal genes. I said gene interaction. I was talking about lethal genes. Cancer gene is a lethal gene, very dangerous gene. So mutations, sometimes they are good, but they are bad also. Again, it's all depends upon, our Kadkol says, Hanebara, fate, karma speaks, he says. But as a biology teacher, as a biology student, what you say? It all depends on prophase 1. Okay, how the crossing over is taking place, right? So this is how we will be talking. So particularly, let us focus on metaphase 1. Look at the changes that are taking place, how the difference between metaphase 1 and metaphase 2, and how the gametes are getting varieties. Now focus on the gene part. There will be yellow color and pink color. Those are the locus, gene position. Now I want you to focus on gametes. Look at that. Now look at that. Compared to parents, are they different? Look at the position of A and B. Gene A, gene B. Yes. And look at this, another parent. Clearly you are able to see differences, right? So this is how the genes are formed. And look at this in anaphase 1 and anaphase 2. Now I am sure Rakesh will be wondering, what is this G1 and G2? Again, I urge you to go back to class 11th, cell division chapter. G1, G2 refers to growth 1 period, growth 2 period. This is preparatory stages during meiosis. Now look at that bivalent. Means two structures are there in anaphase. Meiosis 1 anaphase. And look at that, meiosis 2 anaphase. Is there any difference, Rakesh? Anaphase 1 and anaphase 2. Yes, Rakesh, what is the difference? Yes? Yeah. Yes, yes. Sandeep. Okay. Now, what is the main difference? Just by looking at the picture, you tell me what is the main difference? Anaphase 1 and anaphase 2. Diploid haploid, yes. Here in anaphase 1, it is the pairs. You see, you are seeing, I am expanding it, you are seeing as chromosome structure full. In anaphase 2, chromosome is split into chromatids. Yes, Rakesh, are you able to see?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, clear cut now it is now. Yeah. Now when this split, now comes that, what we say? Independent assortment. The genes have freedom. And this genes attained freedom because of this split. Chromosome becoming chromatid. Right? So, this is how there is a great contribution from these two scientists, chromosomal theory of inheritance. So, chromosomes are vehicles of heredity, as we discussed. Two identical chromosomes form homologous pair. Homologous pairs segregate during gamete formation. This is how they segregate. Okay? Meiosis 2 is just like mitosis, accepted. Remember, we discussed meiosis when you were in 11th under two phases. Meiosis 1, meiosis 2. Under meiosis 1, prophase 1. Under prophase 1, 5 stages we discussed. As we said, leptotin, zygotin, pachytin, diplotin, diakinesis. Right? And number of chromosomes from 46, sperm mother cell having 46 will be reduced to 23. So we said meiotic 1 is reduction division, RD. Remember Republic Day I said, remember RD. Whereas as Kadkol said, meiotic 2, the 23 becomes doubled, 46. Then we say equal division, ED, and for Prasad it is extra dosa, right? So meiotic 1 is RD, there is reduction. What is reduced? Chromosome number is reduced. And in meiosis 2, it is equal division. Like I accept with Kadkol, meiotic 2 is almost mitosis. Is that okay? Now, we come to the next point. Chromosomes are vehicles of heredity. Two identical chromosomes form homologous pair. We discussed that. Homologous pairs segregate during gamete formation and independent pairs segregate independently. That's what I said. Law of independent assortment. One more diagram he has given. Two possibilities. Let us go to possibility 1. Yeah, look at that. There are homologous chromosomes. Now, look at the combination 1 and combination 2. I want you to focus on genes. That yellow and brinjal colored ones. Is there any change? Focus on last one, combination 1, combination 2. Yeah, no, we can't say dominant recessive here. We can only say how the genes are getting exchanged. Locus, how it is changing. That's what you can focus. We don't know now whether it is dominant or recessive. So, two equally probable arrangements at metaphase 1 give rise to different chromosome combination. This is our aim. In metaphase 2, as you are seeing, see, let us go to possibility 2. What are the next possibility? This is the next possibility. Say this. Focus on gene Where is capital A? Where is small b? Yes. See, combination 3, combination 4. This is to apprise you that varieties of combinations will be formed during this meiosis, and that helps in formation of varieties. So, thanks to Boveri and Sutton, that we got an answer. How come new characters are formed in an individual? What Mendel said? God's creation. If the plant has got a red color flower, it is because God wanted that plant should produce red color. But now we know why is it so? Why it is producing red colored one? Unless it has got a gene for red color, it can't. And that gene for red color is because of the combination of chromosomes or chromatids in specific and change in the gene locus. So that's how we are able to explain what Mendel could not explain through chromosomal theory of inheritance. So you got varieties of combinations that are formed like this. Okay, and look at that. One more will go. Law of independent assortment. Once they are formed, now look at this. Meiosis 1 anaphase. You can see the pairs of chromosomes. And in anaphase, the chromosomes are getting separated. Homologous chromosomes are getting separated. Again, when it enters into germ cells means reproductive cells, either sperm or ovum. It is one only. Chromatid only is coming. That is possibility 1. Now, what is the possibility 2? Possibility 2, you focus. Look at that. I want you to focus on the last one. See the new thing that is happening. Compare with possibility 1 and possibility 2. Particularly tip orange, red, green, you see. Now, in possibility 2, is it a variety or not? Yes, certainly. Look at that variety that is formed. So, this is how the chromosomal theory of inheritance explains how varieties are formed, whereas Mendel could not explain. Okay. So, thanks to these two scientists, Sutton and Boveri. So, to conclude, I think already I got a warning. To conclude is that basically Walter Sutton and Theodore Boveri postulated the chromosomal theory of inheritance, and they said that every cell will have a nucleus. Inside the nucleus there is chromosomes, which are vehicles of inheritance, and inside the chromosome there is DNA, and inside the DNA genes will be there. So we got the answer for what Mendel said factors. Where are they present? They are present inside the DNA. So naturally our interest will be where exactly in DNA, isn't it? That we will study in biotechnology chapter. Where exactly the location of gene, how many genes will be present in DNA, what will be the length of the DNA, all that. Yes.
Sir, sometimes these mutations will be beneficial.
Yes. Sometimes they are beneficial.
Then can we make only those mutations artificially that it will be beneficial?
But we are not sure whether what we do we have, but we have still have to have control. Sometimes you want to create let us say one bug which will eat off corona through mutations, but we are not, there is no guarantee that it will eat only corona, it will eat us also. Then danger. Okay, right, take care. I am leaving it, it's over now.